Here we go. Let's talk about some unsung heroes. And it's been so long that I forgot to play the intro. I'm just not going to do it. Either way, we haven't done this one in a while, but unsung heroes from this last weekend. I think that there's a lot of routes that you can go with. I'll be generous and I'll let you go first on this one. And I think we might have the same one, but I'll go somewhere different if you go with who I think you're going to go with. Who's your unsung hero from this last weekend?
Honestly, man, there's guys on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of guys I feel like
Five
this week.
people you could say, yeah.
Shoot, there's another one on all three sides of the ball. Damn. Can we have more than one?
Let's go. Let's each go two, but we'll go
All
back
right.
and forth because we might overlap. So,
All right. Well, the first one I'm going to give is Javon Kinlaw, man. Javon Kinlaw.
that's the one that I thought we were both gonna be like, okay, Javon, yeah.
Got to, man. I mean, he could barely see the field throughout his career, and now he's not only healthy and played every game, he's contributing. He's not a negative in any way. Like we were watching before, and he would get pushed around. He couldn't get low, couldn't get leverage, and I think it's obviously a healthy related thing. It's hard to get low when you're dealing with knee issues. But man, he's been healthy all year, and he's had a ton of positive plays. Last game, I believe he had 2 sacks in that game. The prior, he's just balling out, man. He's showing up all over the field, stopping the run. Did a great job of filling in for Eric Armstead. You got to be happy for that guy because this is his last chance to go out there and earn another contract with another team or this team. And I feel like he's done enough to where he'll at least get another chance to keep playing football next year. So, I mean, he's just stepping up in a major way. He's contributed him positively, and I'm super happy for him. I'm going to go Javon Kinlaw on this one.
Yeah, most certainly. Javon Kinlaw, I think, has to be at the top of the list. And really because I think when I'm looking at these guys, especially at this stage of the season, it's guys that are kind of on their last leg, guys that were written off. And it's hard not to root for players like that on a personal level. You got Javon Kinlaw. We all know his story. Homeless, living in his car, great college player, came in, was supposed to fill in for one of the favorites as far as DeForest Buckner. Everybody loved Defoe. Everybody loved Defoe.
Mm-hmm.
He gets traded. Everybody's upset. And then Kinlaw comes in and is a quote unquote bust, but really not because he is not good. It's because he can't stay healthy. And so year after year, he misses training camps. And the time to actually improve is during practice and training camp. And he's not getting that time. The only time he's getting is on the field. And that's been sporadic because of these knee injuries. And you talk about getting low and he's unable to do so. And now to watch him this year flourish in a role that, it's not as big as the role that was expected for him, but he's saving his career right now in this final year. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. I mean, that shows you what the 49ers thought of the situation. And he's doing everything that he can do to earn a second contract and earn being able to play in this league long term. And you've got to be happy for Javon Kinlaw. And I think another player that kind of suits that, not as big of a comeback story, I would say, because the expectations weren't necessarily there. But Ryan, you were there at training camp with me a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that this man stepped on the field, we knew that they were going to attack him. And we knew they were going to complete passes. It was like, oh, there's Ambry Thomas. Here comes a 10-yard slant. Or a quick slant. It's going to be a gain at least 10 yards, and they're going to have 3 yards of separation. It almost got comical there towards the end because you just knew exactly what was going to happen. And yet, because of some of the circumstances, I do think it's possible that he may not have made this team if Womack and Luter and these guys had been healthy. I think there is a possibility he could have been cut.
Mm-hmm.
But because they were injured to start the season, it left room on this roster. He stayed afloat. He didn't start the season, but when his name was called on, he's performed very, very well. And I thought when they played him a few weeks ago that, okay, it makes sense. The team they were playing at that time had a strong slot receiver in the Jaguars and Christian Kirk. So, okay, you want to move Diamador Lenore inside and you want Ambry Thomas to play outside because you don't want that matchup to be Oliver. So depending on the receivers, maybe next week they go to Oliver and they move Demo back outside because you're going up against a DK and an AJ Brown and some of these other guys. And quite frankly, they haven't made the change. They've just kept him on the outside, and he's done a phenomenal job. It hasn't been perfect. He gave up a touchdown last week, but that throw coming from Drew Lock might have been a bit lucky, but it was
Yeah.
about as well placed as it could be for that touchdown. But Ambry Thomas, I am so happy for him as well. He has saved his career potentially, at least with the 49ers, the way that he's played. And you've got to be very happy for him. So I'm going to use him as an unsung hero as well.
That's a good one, man. I didn't think about him. Let me go to the guy. Do you know this? Let me get a little trivia question for you, Jess.
Mhm.
Who earned the highest PFF grade in the game against Seattle?
Jair Brown.
I'm pretty sure it was Feliciano.
It might have been. I was just
Yeah.
guessing, but I said it with
That was
confidence,
your
and you thought
guess.
I knew the
Oh,
answer.
I
I
thought you
didn't know
knew
the
the
answer.
answer. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. No. So Jair, I was like, wait a minute. Jair Brown though was one of my options there, brother. I was gonna go Jair Brown, but then I started thinking about Feliciano and the job he's done at Rice. He had the highest PFF score. I'm pretty sure. I'm second guessing myself
You're
now.
probably right. You're
But yeah,
probably right. I think
yeah.
Jair Brown. I think I heard that he had the highest PFF score on the defense,
Mm.
so that was why I went that route. But
Yeah.
I have no clue.
You threw me off. You threw me off. But yeah, no, I think John Feliciano, man, did in fact have high PFF and take PFF for what it's worth. But John Feliciano, man, like I'm wrong about a lot of things. One thing I really thought from the beginning was that John Feliciano is one of the best linemen on this team, top of the top three, or if not top three, definitely top four. He's
Mhm.
better than Burford. He's better than McKivitz. He might be better than Jake Brendel. So John Feliciano, I'm a little surprised it took this long for him to get on the field. Now Burford is injured and he's supposed to be available for this next game. I'm curious to see what the 49ers do. Are they going to pop Burford back in over Feliciano? It would be dumb to me, but he's doing a fantastic job blocking, earned the highest PFF score, I'm pretty sure, last week. So he's an unsung hero to me.
Now, what we know is that Burford getting injured last time opened the door for Feliciano. So Feliciano got like 2 straight weeks because he filled in for Banks. Then Banks came back, but Burford was out, so he filled in for Burford. Did a phenomenal job, I think, in both of those. Then there was talk that they were going to split the snaps, much like they did last year with Burford, and they were going to do that with him and Feliciano. And that was the plan. But Burford, they thought, was playing so well against the Eagles that they never took him out. Then he gets hurt again, opens the door for Feliciano. I've got to imagine that Feliciano has played his way into at least splitting those snaps. I don't
Yeah.
like the whole splitting snaps thing. Just play who's better. I think it's clear that Feliciano's better. And I think Burford's improving. I think going forward, I'm actually pretty confident that Burford's going to be better even next year and be okay. But I think right now Feliciano is the better player, and I would play Feliciano. So I love that one.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to rotate these guys, even though I don't think they should. But
Yeah.
maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay for these next 4 games. But come playoff time, like quit messing around. Play the
Just
best
play who's
guy.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's Burford. Maybe by then it is Burford. I don't think the discrepancy is a wide margin by any means, but I do think that there's a clear margin, a clear difference, and Feliciano's at this stage is better than Burford.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I will go with the person that I thought had the highest BFF grade, or at least my guess on that, which was Jair Brown. I think Jair Brown, we talk about pressure. You come in for a former All Pro, first team All Pro last year in Hufanga. Hufanga goes down. Jair Brown really hadn't played a lot this year. He was the highest draft pick for the 49ers. Comes in, plays very well. Then they add some pressure and bringing in Logan Ryan. And I understand, maybe Logan Ryan was meant just for depth, and that's okay. But I also do think when you bring in a 32-year-old who says that he doesn't need the money, who says he's leaving his family on the East Coast and has never played for a West Coast team, and says things like, I was on a cruise enjoying my retirement and the perfect situation came knocking, that tells me that the 49ers might have put in his ear that, hey, there's going to be some playing time for you. Now, maybe that could mean as far as a nickel. Maybe they go back to some of the 3 safety things they did last year with Jimmy Ward. Maybe that meant, hey, we like Jair Brown, but maybe he's a rookie and we could use you. And so we're going to flip you guys in and out, or maybe you have a chance to take his job. I don't know. But either way, it was pressure when you sign a guy like that because he is a good player. He has won rings and he's not super over the hill. Jair Brown's playing really, really good football. And I think the question mark early for me was, man, there's some redundancy, or at least it felt like there was some redundancy with him, Hafunga, and Gibson. And now what you're seeing is exactly what you saw in college is even though the 40 time is not there, the range is there. The instincts are there. And you're starting to see that to where, okay, Gibson retires this offseason, which is likely. He came back one more year because he really wanted to play with Hafunga in this defense, and he thought the team had a really good chance to win a Super Bowl. He's likely gone, but the future looks bright with Hafunga and Jair Brown. And I think that tandem right there can do a lot of really good things together. And I actually do think that there's not a lot of redundancy now and that they can play together. And so, Jair Brown, shout out to you. You're playing phenomenal, and I love to see it.